Welcome back to our St. Louis Blues rebuild in Franchise Hockey Manager 11. So it's that time again to start another season. The 2033-2034 season is underway, and we are currently favorites to win. I've seen that before. We were favorites also last year, and unfortunately we couldn't quite get it done. We ended up going all the way to the finals, but some key injuries definitely hindered our chances there. But looking at it, it's us, Red Wings, and Seattle are the top teams, and then Montreal also a standout as well. It looks like McDavid, Leon Roos, and Kostic are the top three teams for scoring race, and Aiden Bouchard and Hunter Brustowitz and Ilya Kovalchuk. That's weird. Ilya Kovalchuk, is it any relation? No, it's not. So Ilya Kovalchuk is also another player. That's kind of weird, the naming of that. I didn't even know that he existed, but he's 24 and apparently very good. For goaltenders, Calgary, Evan Gardner, Islanders, Kazantsev, and Atyamanov also, or Atyamov, as the top three goalies. Now we'll take a look at the transactions, show you kind of what we did in the offseason. Obviously, we had to make some difficult decisions. But we'll start off with trades first. We just got rid of Fyodorov for a third, which I think he cost us less than that, so not too bad. I think we initially got him for a fourth. Obviously, well, 2 fourths, so he was a fourth-round pick. So we got a third round out of him, so not too bad. We did have to get rid of Misa as well. We got a second-round pick for him in a couple of years, so we'll have to see if that pans out. Villeneuve we got for a third. And the most important one that we did get was we did get Bieber, who's a lefty, for Stenberg. Stenberg, pretty good. He did grade around 65 for the past 2 seasons, but we weren't really playing him enough. So obviously, to be impactful, I definitely felt the need to kind of, not really an upgrade, but definitely upgrade on defense. He graded around a 66, so around the same, but he plays around 20 minutes. He's probably going to play a little bit more for that for us. He's 27. We did extend him as well, just a little bit more than what Stenberg would have been. So maybe that's a good decision, maybe that's a bad one. We'll have to wait and see. Sisek, we end up getting rid of for a second-round pick, and Palika, we had to let him go finally for a third-round pick, which we then got Doris for. But I'll show you a little bit more about what we did. Signings, we signed Patterson. Stump we got from the draft. We just ended up sending him on his way into the AHL to just kind of see if he develops. He was completely undrafted, so even if we can get something for him in the future, why not take that chance? And then Ojanen we also had as well. We ended up loaning him away. We had to send some players down. We'll take a look at the depth chart to kind of show that. Meyer ended up having to get sent down, and Waldman as well. Forsman and Osgood not quite good enough to make the team, so debuts are going to be for Vic, and then even Adrian Meager got featured as a better player overall than Meyer, so I think it could be cap infused, but we do have Stepanov making his debut, Janu, and Henry, so it's going to be a little bit difficult at the beginning to see whether or not this team has what it takes, but we definitely have depth, and we have a nice little influx of players. And I mean, Bieber's not the top lefty, but second best is still pretty good. Patterson's also going to feature on this year as well. He's 19 and only 2.5 stars, but I feel as though he's much better than what it suggests. I just feel as though he's going to probably wither away in the WHL if we end up letting him play there longer. I think he can definitely develop a lot of his skills throughout the season, so we'll end up taking that chance. He's already a 13 shutdown defenseman, so he should be able to be good to log late minutes. We also needed a defender as well. Ivanov looking like he could improve as well, but we do have Petri who could play for us as well at some point if we need it. But we'll look at the draft and how will we end up doing. I won't go into all of them, but I'll kind of go into a couple of them. Tyler Apps, we end up getting with the second round pick. Not too bad, 41 points. And, I mean, determination's pretty high. He was projected to go pretty high, actually, 26th, and we got him for 46. It was for the trade for Aspie. So we won't really go into too much detail with everything. I'm just going to try and feature it as much as we can. Left winger Theo Gouillard, who's a 3-star potential, currently showing 2-star, but he's already a 15 up and down winger, so I'm not even sure how he manages to get that stat for up and down winger as an average of 14 for that. So, I mean, I will take it. Yeah, I don't even understand how he got that. So maybe something's wrong with the evaluation for him. But we ended up getting him for the Vernhoff pick a couple seasons ago. He was projected to go 27th. We got him at 53. So all in all, not bad so far. Obviously, it sucks that we keep having to trade away players for that, but we end up getting Encio Mata. Not bad at all. We end up getting him. He was projected to go 4th overall. We got him at 57, so one of these might hit, and he's a lefty, currently looking like he's going to be more of an offensive defenseman though. His defensive rating looks pretty terrible, his determination somewhat decent, but obviously his offenses seems to be pretty prominent with 51 points in the under 18 for I'm not even going to try and say that name, but 81 grade they ended up getting. He also graded around a 54 as well, so the fact that he graded that decent for under 18 does give us a little bit of hope that he will do well. We did get Victor Page as well, 2.5-star potential, and he was projected to go 68. We got him at 63. Doris, I don't think there's too many that we ended up getting that seemed like bargains, but this guy, Doris, like I said, 2-star, but looking at his stats, it looks like he should be a little bit better than that. Like his determination being that high, his face-offs being that high for a center as well, his shooting accuracy being around a 17. So there's a lot of good. He looks like he's average other than that, but he's also 18, so I can only imagine that it should improve from there. He wasn't even projected to get drafted, which is how I have a decent feeling that he might be better than what it suggests that he should be, because I feel as though they definitely screw that up as much as possible. Ed McKenzie as well, he looks okay, but I think we mainly got him for his potential. He was projected to go 42. We got him at around half or double that, I guess, so not bad at all. And this will be the last one that we end up showing you. Cole Pudelich, and like I said, he also looks pretty decent for a center, already at 17 face-offs, which seems kind of insane. His physicals are decent. His offensive rating is very good as well. Like if you look at all these parameters, they're pretty decent. Like I don't think he's NHL ready now, but even if I just looked at this at a player that's playing in the NHL at the moment, I wouldn't be completely swayed off from picking him. So we ended up getting him. He was projected to go 120. We got him at 77, and we got him for the Fisher trade. So like I said, a 3rd-round pick, not bad. Not bad at all in terms of the hindsight of everything. I'll just look at Schneider just real quick. But yeah, he only got 31 points, so probably not a scorer. And even then, he looks pretty good too. So we definitely took our time in terms of looking at specific things. Obviously, determination is the number one that we looked at. For more of a defensive player, we did look at hitting. We obviously looked at passing as well. But even look at his physicals. He might not be the fastest player, but he has stamina, strength, and balance. So I feel as though those are underrated features for physicals. He did grade only around 60 in the WHL, but he's also 17. We'll have to see how well he does this season. He's also only rated around a 1 or a 0.5 or 0.5 star player. So I mean, just looking at all this, doesn't look like he's that kind of a player. It looks like the scouting might have got it wrong, and I will definitely take advantage of that as much as possible if we're going to have to kind of dig deep for some of these picks. I feel as though every pick that we do, we're going to have to do a little bit more research on it as we get more into this series, because I think it matters, and I think it matters quite a bit. I haven't seen an owner request in a while. Win a rivalry game. I think that should be pretty doable. All we have to do is win one this whole season, so I will definitely get it done. But the fact that we're favorites once again, we did make some sizable changes, but obviously the core of the team is still pretty much the same. We did add some assistant assistant captains as well. I think Setzel ended up featuring on that as well. I think Bieber might have been the other one. But I think the Bieber trade will do pretty well. I think we're pretty stacked on defense now, and I think we're just stacked in general. Obviously, certain injuries are 5-star players whenever they get hurt is definitely something to kind of watch out for. But I mean, we are win now this year, next year, and we are a strong team. So the reason why we can't quite get the job done in the playoffs is still kind of a mystery to me. And I wonder if they bring up Meyer might have to get traded at some point because I think we're still good for the cap. He does make 5 million or 4.5, and we do have around 5. So I don't know why the AI decided to do that, but I'm gonna kind of roll with it. We haven't strayed away from it. Vic and Henry get the chance. Maybe he's not as true of a center. He doesn't really log that many minutes, so he could be trade bait. I'm not going to let someone that has high potential kind of wither away there. So, oh yeah, Bieber's one of the assistant captains as well. Same thing with Stutzel. And then Baldock is going to be our captain throughout this season. So we face off against Utah. Let's see if we can win the first game of the season. And we don't. 6-4 loss, as I kind of expected. I think it's going to be a little bit of a adjustment period for the first couple games. Hoggins gets a goal, Zalesny as well, Stutzel and Olsen, and ultimately we end up losing that 6-4, but like I said, there's not much that you can really do. First game of the season, I wasn't really expecting us to go off to a flying start. Now, I'll have to look at Utah's projection, and we should have probably beat them, so that could be a cause for concern. We'll have to kind of monitor that more. But I know last season our away record was definitely a talking point that we had to kind of adjust on. I don't really think there's a way to really adjust it and to just play better on the road. I think it kind of comes and goes, and it's a little bit more of a randomizer than anything. Obviously, having a better team really affects that as well. I don't think we have a first-round pick, but there are players that could be available there, depth chart-wise. I mean, Janu's our top one, and even Oscar Johansson, depending on how well he does in the AHL, he might get the bump up to the big leagues, because if Reinhold ends up struggling, I'm okay with putting him on waivers by getting a player for just a little bit cheaper. But we have a second and we have a couple thirds, a couple fourths, but that's pretty much it. So it's going to be a pretty easy draft next season, and then we don't have a first rounder either for next year. So obviously we're kind of all in at this point, and that could be also why they feature as a win now for it. But we win on the road here, 3-2. Hoggins, Plaxon, and Martoni end up getting on the score sheet. Martoni was one of those players that I was considering also cutting loose, but he grades well. So the fact that he grades well, it's not all about scoring, but the fact that he grades well is pretty important. He doesn't necessarily log the top minutes, but he does command a decent amount of salary. Same thing with Meyer. So again, it's one of those things that you have to kind of reevaluate as to what direction you want to go with the team. And I mean, I like Martoni. I think in real life he's better than what's showing in the game. I think he's going to be a top talent in a couple years. But obviously, the game kind of has its favoritisms of who they think is going to be bigger than who isn't. And I mean, it all has to be factored in at some point, though. So hopefully we can keep this winning going. We lost 2 at home. That is definitely a cause for concern. Dupont with 2 goals there, but ultimately losing 4-2 against Kings. I would have never expected that we would have been better on the road to start the season than we are at home. But we do turn our sights to San Jose, who are pretty good this season, 3-1-0. We did lose to LA Kings too, so kind of got to take that into consideration. And we also lost to Utah, who are pretty decent as well. Obviously, we need to win these games, but season's not going to be decided in the first week of the season. We do win that one 4-3. We finally got our first home win though, so we're not going to get fired because of it. Watson with his first. Nabokik, I'm going to call Dimitri, ends up getting his first of the season, and then we get Martoni, Stutzel, and that's all she wrote. I thought I saw someone else, but yeah, we end up getting the lead early and then kind of keeping it. So not bad, but our first win against Montreal, let's see if we can jump on that. They're 0-4. So maybe that one win is not necessarily aging too finely, but obviously a win's better than a loss, and we just kind of take this in stride. 2-0 throughout 4 games, but obviously one of our 2 wins weren't against the most stiffness of competition, but obviously we have a bunch of rookies this year. We do lose 6-5 in regulation, so no points there. Hoggins with 3, Stutzel with 3, and then Baldock, Stutzel, and Vic score in the third. So, I mean, 2-3-0, not ideal, but I mean, it looks like our division's not really running away with it. 6 points seems to be the mark here, and we do have an extra game here, so if we can get 300 after this Tampa Bay game, it's not going to be decided so early, but obviously the more games that we end up playing, the more likely that our rookies are going to start to develop, and I think we're kind of going on that. I think there's, like I said, a lot of an adjustment for this year, and even though we were favorites, I think that it's going to be a struggle at the beginning, but I think we can get it at the end. We do score against Aspie, which is pretty good. Baldock, Zalesny end up scoring, and then Martoni and Spangberg, Watson as well. I will take a quick note of this, which I found kind of funny. So we'll look at the transactions from last year. Remember when we lost one of our players on waivers? So he got traded. We kind of got like scammed just a little bit, because this is kind of what I would have done in previous seasons, is literally get players off waivers and then trade them the next year. So Penkin got traded to Boston Bruins for Josh Doan, who's a 31-year-old. Doesn't do too bad, but the fact that he ended up getting traded for him, pretty insane. But we'll look at Penkin's stats, see how well he did last year, and see how much of a mistake that we ended up doing by leaving him in the AHL only to get picked up. So Vegas Golden Knights, 26 points. I mean, not crazy. I'm not too heartbroken by it, but like I said, he looks pretty good. 1.4. He would come back to us though, so that is very important. We lost him because of an oversight, and we obviously just have to make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen again. So 3-3-0 throughout 6 games. Like I said, top 3 is still out for grabs. Even top teams out for grabs. They only have one loss less than us. And I feel as though we had Mercic at some point as well. Could be another save. A couple players ended up getting their 1,000 games mark. We do face off against Colorado here, and we do win the rivalry game, so we won at least one of them. Spenberg, Olsen, and Stutzel and Dupont score in the second, so pretty crazy second period. And Aaron then dominates the third period to get his first and second goal of the season. Baldock is now hurt. Only 1 to 2 weeks shoulder soreness, but do we want, I think we might allow AI to kind of maybe bump him off. Could free up some space in terms of cap space that we could use close to the trade deadline. But most importantly, that win bumps us up to third. And I like what I see with that. And Spangberg hurt too. So no, I'm going to put him to IR. And then I'm going to bump up Meyer. So we'll end up, we'll have to see what he does, what AI does, but I think, yeah, Vic ends up playing instead of Meyer. Meyer has 5 points in the AHL, so not bad, but Reinhold gets his first start of the season. Like I said, if he starts to struggle, we know where to go. 3-1, not bad. Not bad at all. Third goal for Aaron. Dupont gets his fourth, and then Hoggins gets his fourth as well. We now turn our sights to Boston in a couple days, but I do want to highlight one thing that was pretty cool. Zelezny was originally a 5-star player to start the season. 4.5 is still kind of what he's featuring at 6 points in 8 games. It's pretty good too. So the more that he features, the more that he develops, and the happier that we are. Oh my God, Metropolitan is a terrible division this season. What? Oh no, they just play more games. Okay, I was gonna say because Rangers were in one of the top teams, and so was Islanders, with a negative record. 5-6-0 is good enough for top 3, and we do complete the goal. See, that seems kind of realistic, but I feel as though it should have been something like win 50% of them. Because winning one rivalry game does not seem like nearly enough what I would expect. But the fact that we can make our owner happy, I will take that every day. Now, facing off against Boston, we do lose 3-2. No points in regulation. We lose. Vic ends up scoring in Hoggins as well. Palika as the one who ends up putting the nail in the coffin. I do like seeing that. That is good. It's nice to see also Bruins not doing bad either. I mean, a lot of the players that end up having a trade, I don't wish ill will. I would love for them to feature into Stanley Cup teams and win as many as they possibly can, and for us to kind of eat our words for sure. But I mean, I haven't really seen anything kind of stand out like that. San Jose, now let's see if we got this. We do win 6-2, so we're riding hot with this. Stutzel with the 6th. Cool finally gets his first, and then Plaxton and Hoggins before Hoggins and Martoni. Hoggins looks like he's pretty good this season. And once again, the injury bug showing its ugly face. He has a tender shoulder. Apparently that's 2 weeks in in resting. That is absolutely wild. Maple Leafs are currently at the bottom. I do think we end up trading him decent player as well throughout this offseason. So the fact that they're not doing too great is kind of funny. Carolina 2-8. That is also terrible. Like, I don't even think at any point throughout this series I think we started off that bad. Like, we tried as much as possible. Another rivalry game, we do win that one too. 6-3. Olsen, Zelezny, Plaxton, and Hoggins ends up getting on it. And then Zelezny and Stutzel end up scoring as well. So amongst 11 games, we're 7-4-0. No losses in overtime. We do find ourselves in first place currently. So, like I said, I was more so expecting us to kind of struggle early. The fact that we're still not doing terrible with injuries is definitely a positive here. I don't know how many games Myers played. He's played 3. 3. He featured pretty good in the AHL. But obviously the more exposure that he ends up getting, the better for us. So Seattle, we lose 4-3 at home. Cool scores, and then Meager gets his first. And that's all she wrote. Cool scores Meager, and then Stutzel. I don't know why Stutzel kind of got missed there. But 7-5-0. Seattle's not a bad team. So losing to a 9-2-2 team is not terrible. So can't really even complain about that, but we'll play maybe 1 or 2 games, then look at the stats and kind of see where this season's headed. 5-3 against the champions. Also funny that it's the team that we end up managing at the beginning of this game. Dupont scores, and Meyer scores. Brink doesn't score for us. And then Spangberg scores at the end. We now face off against Ottawa, but it is funny to see that they are so dominant. So it seems like it was inevitable for Flyers to figure things out. And I think Michkov is just deeply, deeply underrated. I do think that they even did a disservice in the game when we were managing him to have him go down to 3 stars so quickly, because it did make it a little bit of a struggle. to kind of develop him as quickly as possible. But we do win that game 5-4. Aaron scores Stutzel, Martoni, and Stutzel again, and then Vic ends up scoring in overtime. So I will take that all day. And looking at it, we are currently second in the Central. We're tied with Colorado, so we could still see that drop. And I mean, league-wise, we're 10th place, so not great, not bad. 54 goals for, 48 against, and what else? 5-4-0, home record 3-2-0, away record not bad, but that's not going to win you championships. Bieber is also hurt as well, and then Watson still hurt. So once everyone kind of gets healthy, we should be pretty good. But the fact that everyone's starting to get injured is not on my bingo card for sure. But Stutzel with over a point per game, he started off hot in other seasons too, but kind of dwindled down. He did finish last season with 16, so he definitely wants to do well this bounce back season after he got hurt for most of last one. So 18 points for him, Dupont with 15, Olsen with 15. So definitely some improvement there. Hagens with 14, and then Spangberg with 13. He's now 4.5-star player. He could be 5-star too. Martoni with 12. That's actually pretty good. 5 and 7, and then 12 total. This could be a career year for him. Zalesny with 10, and then Aaron with 9. Dickinson with 8, and then Vic with 7. But like I said, Meyer's probably going to get sent down if he hasn't already. And then we'll look at the goalies. Reinhold with 2 games, 2-0-0, and only 5 goals against, 249 goals against, and 896 save percentage. Augustin's been a little bit up and down this season. 6-6-0 to start it off, 3-4-2, and then 888 save percentage, which is not good at all for what you're paying him. He should be obviously doing a little bit more than that. But we'll look at the depth chart and then look at Johansson. Yeah, Johansson not doing much better in the AHL, 2-3-0, and then Ojanen playing for the SMH. Britt playing for the ECHL, 900, but I mean, I would have thought that Oscar Johansson would have been playing a little bit better than that, but maybe they don't have enough talent there in the AHL there. But overall, not doing too bad. Obviously, there's room for improvement. Stepanov has not got registered point. That is insane. So we'll have to kind of monitor that as well. We might have to send him down. I don't see how we can keep a guy up that's not scoring. Janu as well, 0 points. Geez, so our rookies are doing very, very poorly. I should have probably seen that in the other feature as well. Vic was 7. That was pretty decent. But yeah, our rookies not doing anything is cause for concern. At least Patterson has 2 points there. But he is a 3-star player now, so he has at least improved that. But that is still crazy. Both our rookies don't have any points. But hopefully that changes. We'll obviously monitor that. This season isn't going to be a wash. We should be able to make the playoffs. But we'll jump closer to the beginning of the next year in 2034, and hopefully can manage to kind of maintain this and stay away from the injuries this year. Obviously, that's been massively our demise throughout this series, but hopefully you can manage to win this one. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and thank you for watching. Until next time.